Well, hey, Hoodoo Loves. It's Miss Avy. Hi. Okay, so we're really doing this. This is what I look like. To answer very briefly, why am I showing my face now? Circumstances have changed, and now I can have my face out here on YouTube for all of you guys, and it's not going to cause any trouble for any of the companies that I was managing and working with before. So now probably we're going to go back to just these in the future, because most of the time you need to see what I'm doing with candles, herbs, oils, all the stuff for the tutorials, and not so much this. But I wanted to do today for you just kind of a face reveal. Hi, and also answer a really important question that I keep getting, which is, what makes a spell fail? So I made a list, and before we get started with everything on this list, I want to add one important piece of information here, and that these are reasons that any type of spell work can fail. Hoodoo, Wiccan, professionally done at home. This is sort of a big, general, all-around list, and this also includes any type of spell work, as in love or money or domination or something else. So this list is going to give you some really good ideas of what could possibly go wrong, how to avoid it going wrong, and how to solve the problem if it did go wrong. So let's start with the first one. Number one reason that spells can fail: bad information. This one's really straightforward. When we do a spell, we've got a picture in our mind of the story that is going on, who we are in the story, who our target is, what the past and present look like, and what we would like the future to become. When we do a spell, whether it is in Hoodoo or Wicca or anything else, we're drawing from that picture that we have of what reality is. The problem is that sometimes our information is incomplete or incorrect. So that's where getting a good reading becomes the ultimate solution for this problem. You need to make sure you understand what's going on in the situation in reality and factually, and what's going on in the situation emotionally and spiritually. What is happening with the other person? Make sure you've got all the details. 99.9% of the time, when I see a spell work that is moving either incredibly slow or just flat out not working, this is why. There is usually a piece of information that is either wrong or missing, and as soon as a good reading comes into play, that piece gets cleared up and we are able to go in and solve the problem, and people start to see things unlocking. If you are running into a situation where you feel like you're just doing spell work over and over again and it's not taking effect and you don't get it and you're not sure what's happening, go make sure you've got all the facts. Get a good reader, especially I would say a neutral third party. Don't do the reading yourself. Don't get your friend to do the reading. Go talk to someone who doesn't have a dog in the fight and ask that person to use their spiritual gift to connect and see what's really going on, so you can get accurate information. Because if you've got accurate information, you can change the outcome. Let's move on to number two. Reason number two that spells can fail: bad connection. Now this one is going to apply in slightly different ways to other types of magic than it does to Hoodoo, but in general, all magic has this principle. In Hoodoo, when you create a spell, you are drawing in sort of, you think of it like a big ball of energy, which is full of your intent and the spirits you have connected with, the energies you have put in. It forms this sort of central core, and then you need to connect it to your target person, situation, or outcome. The way you connect it is by building a link using things like a name, a birthday, a photograph, or a personal effect. Traditions vary. The things are going to be a little bit different in other practices, but in general, all magic has some level of this principle. You have to build a link between the spell work you are doing and the thing or person you are doing it to in order to get it to move. And this is the number two reason that spell work will fail: if there is just a bad connection. If there is no link between the intent and the target, then that intent has nowhere to go. Common things that happen with this: using the wrong name, using an incomplete name, a photograph of the wrong person. I have seen that one happen. Using a personal effect that you thought was of the right person, but actually is from somebody else. All of those can be reasons that the spell is not connecting properly. Now, there are a few more obscure reasons that this same thing can happen. If someone has super heavy protection around them, it can be much harder to build a connection and get in. Another reason is that some of the ladies in the Deep South, and especially for boys, they will give them a public name and a private name. Like, there's a name that your mother knows, and then there's a name that everybody else knows you by. And in these cases, it's a little bit of a combination of detective work to make sure you've got accurate information, and getting a good reading to make sure that there's nothing actively blocking things. But once again, once you know what the accurate information is, you can establish that connection and just do the spell over. It will have a chance to link up and go through. Let's go on to number 3. Number 3 is probably my favorite, and honestly, this is the reason that in my professional work, I very strongly recommend that people talk to me first before just deciding to purchase a spell. And I recommend, if you're doing spell work at home, you keep this one in mind. Reason number 3, wrong spell solving the wrong problem. There is no amount of breaking your ex up with the girl they are now dating that is going to fix the fact that they have massive self-esteem issues and that makes them feel unworthy of you. There is no amount of dominating your boss that is going to make him give you a raise if the company is failing. There are all kinds of things where we have a particular idea of what we would like to be the problem, and so we get fixated on this must be the reason. And a lot of times these things come from our upbringing, our training, or our insecurities. In this case, you don't necessarily need a reading. You might want to talk to a reader, but really what you need is a good, wise friend who can give you an objective point of view. And you can go to them and say, look, this is what I think is happening with this situation. Am I wrong? Am I seeing it backwards? Am I the butthole here? Am I actually the problem? Do I need to be working on me instead of on the other person? That is the crux of this issue. If we do the wrong spell to solve the wrong problem, we will not get the right results. Number 4. Oh boy. Anxiety, anger, passive aggression. I'm gonna need some tea for this one. Okay. So, I want to make it abundantly clear at the beginning of this that I am not in any way talking down to people who have legitimate mental health struggles with things like anxiety. And I would also like to make it clear that I am not one of the people who believes in the hippy-dippy nonsense. Oh, if you have any negative thoughts at all, you can't manifest because for some reason we have to be totally positive creatures of life. Look, we are humans, we experience negative emotions, and anyone who thinks we don't is not and has never met a spiritual person. On the other hand, there is a threshold above and beyond which anxiety, anger, and passive-aggressive behaviors start to actively get in the way of you getting what you want. The bottom line is this: your emotions act as an off-on switch for the universe. Not you feeling them, but you using them, and there is a difference. It is perfectly fine to feel anxious about, is this spell work going to succeed? Is the person that I want to come back going to come back? It is totally fine to feel angry at a person who has done you wrong. It is totally all right to have standards to say they are going to apologize to me and show a demonstration of improved behavior before I let them back in. All of that is perfectly fine. What's not fine is engaging in aggressive or anxious or obsessive behaviors trying to alleviate that emotion. And the reality is that you are not going to manifest results as long as you are taking that emotion and trying to get your target to alleviate it. What is a healthy way to handle this and a solution is talk to a friend, a therapist, a pastor, cat, dog, beanie baby, whatever, whoever you need to vent to. Go talk to somebody else. Go get feedback from somebody else. Put it into a journal, wherever you need to put it, but don't connect it to your target. They may need to live up to your standards and apologize to you, but there is a time and a place to handle that problem. And you need to let spirit bring you what you are asking and then solve the interpersonal issues. Don't put the negativity directly towards your target. Have someone else, someone you trust, be there to support and give you perspective and let you vent. And you will find it does wonders for letting your spell work go forward without problems or delays. So that was a little bit heavy, but let's go on to number 5. Number 5, Spirit is protecting you. This one, I gotta be real, guys, I don't know what to do about it. I don't think there is a thing you can do about it. It's rare. It's super uncommon. But every once in a while, Spirit does just say no. And sometimes it is not because you have sent passive-aggressive or angry or anxious energy at the situation. And it is not because you have the wrong problem or the wrong solution. And it's not because you have poor connection. And it's not because you have bad information. There is just something there that Spirit knows is bad for you. And they're not going to let you have what you're asking for. Sometimes the issue is not that anybody needs to change. Sometimes the issue is that you yourself want something that is actively destructive for you. Sometimes the problem is that there are foundational things that have to be handled first. There's other work that needs to be done. This one came into play for me when I wanted to manifest a partner. I had to do some pretty serious shadow work on myself because I had some really deep wounds and some really, really just toxic traits that I had to deal with before Spirit was going to bring me the kind of relationship that I was asking for. Sometimes you have to go and talk to Spirit and figure out what it is that they are protecting you from. And sometimes the answer is still going to be no. In that case, all you can do is say, what's better? What will make me happier? And this is where trust between you and Spirit has to come in. You have to trust that they have your best interest at heart. You have to trust that they are, in fact, leading you down the right path. So, if you've checked all the other 4, and you know you've got the right information, the right connection, you're solving the right problem, and you're not doing anything to get in the way, this is probably your issue. And it's time for a big sit down with Spirit. Kind of have that come to Jesus talk with your spirits and find out what's really going on. Okay, so that's it. That is the top 5 reasons that spell work can fail. And I really hope you liked this video. I hope that it helps you figure out what's going on in your life and your spell work. And if you've got more questions, ideas for videos like this, definitely go ahead and send those to me. Best way to contact me is going to be through my website, hoodoodelish.com, but you can also reach out to me at hoodoodelish@gmail.com, and you can find me on Instagram and on Facebook as well. So I love each and every one of you guys. If you like this video, please go ahead and click that subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notifications when I do more content. Give this a like, a share, a comment. It really does help my channel, and I love each and every single one of you, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!